everybody. So today I'm doing a tag. It's very exciting, and I'm talking about, this is a tag created by Matthew Arnholt, and he is a friend of the channel. He is doing his top 200 movies of all time list, and on the list he has a very eclectic taste. So he has created these questions that go along with some of his picks, and there's a lot of them, so I'm going to go through them pretty quickly, and if you want me to elaborate a little bit more on why I picked what, then put in the comments section and we can talk about it. It'll be really fun. So the first question is, voices a little seen movie from this year that you love. And my answer to that would be Freetown. And it's a faith-based movie, but I think it transcends. It's a really, really high quality movie about Liberian missionaries that have to get smuggled to Freetown. And I think it's really well acted. I think it's a practical version of faith. It's a lot less dogmatic than typical faith-based films. It's somebody who's trying to do what's right, but there's a lot of doubt, and he's unsure. He's facing really, really tough odds. It's beautifully filmed, beautifully acted. It's moving. It's inspiring. It's a really good film. To Live, a movie you had to watch for a class that you wound up loving. And I can really only think of three. I know I'm sure there was more, but one I thought of was Amistad, which is brutal, but definitely worth watching, and a very good movie. And then I thought of Schindler's List, which is also very brutal, but also definitely worth watching. And then finally, I thought of To Kill a Mockingbird, which is one of my all-time favorite books and one of my all-time favorite movies. Next is Spaceballs, a spoof movie you actually like. And so for this one, I would say the original Airplane. I think is really funny and I think holds up quite well. Next one is Kingsman, your favorite movie of the year. I have not seen Kingsman because it's pretty violent, and so I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's very good. My favorite movie of this year so far is Inside Out. My favorite live action film so far this year is Spotlight. Next is Willy Wonka boat scene. Freakiest moment in a movie you've seen that is not a horror movie. I would say the Pleasure Island scene in Pinocchio, because it's freaky, and they turn kids into donkeys and don't ever turn them back. Okay, next is both Sin City movies, a movie series that you are a total fangirl of and you don't care who judges you. And so I'm guessing this is a series that somebody would judge you for and think is bad. And so I'll say the Cars movies. They're not like my favorite, and also I don't know if I'm a fangirl, but I'm a Pixar fangirl, and I think I like the Cars movies. I think they've got some good things about them, and I enjoy watching them. So next, I say, Where Are You, Franklin? A movie that didn't get a proper theatrical release in your country that you wish did. I would say The Rewrite. This is a movie I've been championing all year. It's a classic romantic comedy. Hugh Grant, J.K. Simmons, Allison Janney, great cast. It's really funny. It's got a lot to say about movies and writing and work and books and everything else, and I love it. I've yet to show it to somebody who didn't really like it also, so it didn't really get much of a theatrical release, but I highly recommend checking it out. Okay, next question is Feast, your favorite short film, and I would say La Luna is probably my favorite short film. It's a Pixar film about a grandpa, a father, and a little boy, and their job is to scrape the stars off of the moon. And I just think that's beautiful and really just a lovely little story. Great music by Michael Giacchino. I also really loved Feast. I love the old shorts from the 40s with Mickey and Donald and the old Looney Tunes shorts. So they would all be kind of in there as well. Okay, next I have I Can't Help It. Hero is so beautiful, the most visually beautiful film you have seen. And for some reason, I had a hard time thinking of this. You think it would be easy. I thought of The Book of Life. I thought of The Secret World of Arrietty is one that I think is really beautiful. And I couldn't think of a live action for some reason. My mind just went blank. And so I think What Dreams May Come is really beautiful. So I guess I'll go with that. Okay, next is White Christmas on Halloween. Your favorite movie associated with a holiday. And so I'd say It's a Wonderful Life. Is my favorite. Me and Joe Tofano just talked about our favorite holiday films, and we just did sort of a podcast that you can find on my channel and on his channel, so I really recommend checking that out. Okay, next is Fantastic Mr. Fox Makes You Happy, a movie that always puts you in a good mood. For me, that would be You've Got Mail. I just love it. I love Nora Ephron's writing. I love the chemistry between Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, and I just love this idea that they have identified themselves as a part of their work, but it's not really who they are. It's just a part of who they are, and it's not until they meet this person and through their writing that then they fall in love. And so yeah, I love Shop Around the Corner with Jimmy Stewart, and I also love You Got Mail. Next is How is New Nightmare Even Good? A sequel made after a third movie that is actually good. I couldn't really think of one off the top of my head, but I went with Creed. I thought it was great. The recent Creed. It's the 7th in the Rocky family, and I was so entertained by it. It was so well shot. It was really well acted, and so yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Next is Rashomon, a movie with an inventive narrative. And for this, I would go with Inception. It was something I'd never seen anything quite like it before. It was a movie that dared to end with a puzzle, with a question. I thought that was great. It was a movie that you wanted to talk about with your friends and say, what do you think of this? And not only that, but it had great special effects and it had great layers to it and great acting. So I love Inception. Next is The Wolfman, your favorite movie monster. So I would say Sully from Monsters Incorporated is my favorite movie monster. Maybe Mike is my second favorite, or tied. Okay, next is Chronicle, a found footage movie you like. If you saw my Suffragette review, you know I do not like shaky cam. I have a very sensitive stomach. And so I don't know where like the difference is between found footage and shaky cam or whatever, but Chronicle is really the only one that I find watchable. I do like that movie pretty good, but I don't like the shaky cam, and I think that Captain Phillips is pretty good because it's small and it's not too jarring. It's just enough to kind of make you feel like you're on the boat. So I like Captain Phillips. I thought that was good. Next is Simpsons movie, your favorite movie to come from a TV show. And I know hardly anybody loves The Simpsons more than I do. I love The Simpsons. They're hilarious. I still watch the show. A lot of people have gotten off the show. I still watch it every Sunday. And it's just something that's part of my family and my life and my childhood and everything. And I just love the show. I like The Simpsons movie, but you notice it was not on my top 50. And so it's not one that I love, even though I love The Simpsons, because I feel like it's overwrought, and you could look and it has like 25 writers. And for me, I think it was a mistake to take them away from Springfield for such a part of the movie. And if I was going to do it, I would have it be sort of an It's a Mad, Mad World kind of style, where maybe they're all looking for some kind of treasure or some kind of reward. And so you could still have the family kind of leading everything, but then you get all the side characters would have sort of their little moment and their little thing. I think that would have been the way to go, but that's just me. It's not a terrible film. I do like it. I just don't love it. So for me, honestly, I think the best TV to movie adaptation is, I think, the Peanuts movie. You could say that's a comic strip to movie, but I think really it had so much based on those television shorts. And I loved the Peanuts movie. It was so entertaining. So there you go. Next is Ed Wood, your favorite biopic. Ed Wood's one of my favorites. It's so clever. It's so funny. It's about this person who is just so in love with what they do. They found their passion even though they suck at it. And I kind of find that really good. But I really love Amadeus. It's such a fictionalized biopic that I don't know if you can really count it, but I think that's such a interesting movie about envy and greed and how you can allow someone to control your life without them even knowing about it at all. But the one that I had to go with is My Left Foot. It's about Christy Brown, who was a man with cerebral palsy in Ireland, and he could only use his left foot. And it was the first Oscar for Daniel Day-Lewis. He's amazing in it. And it also has an Oscar-winning term from Brenda Fricker, who plays his mother, and she is his champion. And it's just a lovely, lovely movie. Okay, next is introducing Kate Winslet in Heavenly Creatures, a fantastic film debut for an actor or actress that you've seen. So I would go with Audrey Hepburn in Roman Holiday. I just saw it on the big screen. It was a total delight. It's funny, it's sweet, it's subtle. She plays the part of a princess, which could be just a total prima donna, but there's a softness to her. You really believe that she is this character that wants to get out and have an adventure, and Gregory Peck's so great in it. So and all Rome is just wonderful. So it's a lovely movie, and she's just luminous in there. So then we have Gremlins 2, your favorite movie from the year you were born, and that would be Raiders of the Lost Ark. This is my favorite movie from 1981. Okay, 20, Grave of the Fireflies, your favorite Studio Ghibli film. And for me, that's Spirited Away. I've talked about that quite a bit on the channel, but it's just a movie that surprised me every single time, in every single scene. I had no idea what was going to happen, and it's just so visually inventive and creative, and I love the journey that Chihiro goes on in becoming kind of a woman and taking accountability for herself. Okay, next is Who Framed Roger Rabbit, a movie character you can't help but identify with. And this is going to be Olivia from Boyhood, played by Patricia Arquette. And I loved Boyhood last year. I thought it was just one of the most moving experiences I've ever had at a theater. And even though I don't have children, so I can't relate to her in that way, just the way that like life kind of happens. And she just sort of at the end kind of realizes that it's done. She's finished, and I don't know, I just could relate to that feeling of like, whether it's sort of the end of a job or the end of an experience or whatever, and you just kind of look back and you're like, what happened? And I love that character and how she's just trying so hard to do what's right, but she makes a lot of really bad choices, and I think a lot of us can relate to that. Okay, next is Whiplash, your favorite music-related movie. I think Whiplash is a really good movie. It's very entertaining, but I think it's a little over the top. At certain parts, it's not my favorite, but I did like it. So for me, my favorite music film, Amadeus would be one. I love that movie, but also Walk the Line is one of my favorites. I just love little scenes like the June Carter love walk that he goes on. I love that. I love the back and forth between the two characters. I love all the music. I love seeing sort of his journey through the Folsom prison, and him playing at the Folsom prison. And I like the fact that they told just a small part of Johnny's life. They didn't worry about telling the whole story. That was really good. And I think Joaquin Phoenix is really good, and Reese Witherspoon is really good, and it's just a really entertaining movie where you're just rooting for these good people to figure out their lives and get together and everything. So, was First Contact or A New Hope, Star Wars or Star Trek, and favorite movie from said series? I think we all know that it is Star Wars, and if you're wondering where my video for Return of the Jedi is, it's stuck in this YouTube error, and I can't get it to load onto my channel, and I'm trying to work with them, trying to get it, but you can watch it, so I'll put a link down, because it's really good, a good discussion that Jeremy and Abby and I had. So I'll put a link down. Please take a look at that video. I don't know if you're able to watch it on your phone or not. I'm not able to, but some people said they can. So please watch that because I'm not able to publicize it, and it's not able to show on my channel because of all these issues with the error. So it's very, very, very frustrating for me. Okay. Oh, my favorite movie, my favorite Star Wars movie, I think the best made movie is Empire Strikes Back, and it is so good. But I think that Star Wars is the most entertaining of the things. The one you just want to cheer, but they're all great. The original trilogy I just think are all fantastic. Next one, Hellboy, your favorite superhero. And so I would say, actually, I'm a big X-Men girl. I really like the X-Men. I like that there's female characters. I like that there are... I think that it's a little bit more interesting with sort of this mutation. There's some certain things they say about classes and the way that we treat people that look different, that act different, as opposed to just sort of the typical superheroes, which aren't as much of a class as, it's not like Superman has sort of a class like him, whereas the mutants do. And I just think that's interesting. And so I like the X-Men the best of all the different franchises. And my favorite hero of them is Wolverine, because I like Hugh Jackman. I like his backstory. Is Psycho, a movie where you knew most of the big twists going in and you loved it anyway. This would, I think, be for any movie that I've read the book. So I knew the twists because I read the book. And so I think all the Harry Potters, I knew the twists, but going into the movies, but I still really enjoyed all of those movies except for 7 Part 1, which I found to be really boring. So any movie that's based on a book is one that I've had spoiled for me, and it doesn't matter at all to me. So there you go. That's my answers to these questions from this tag. Please check out Matthew's channel and give him some support and put some comments in on some of his picks, please. And thanks so much. Please subscribe to my channel and let me know what you think about my answers. So I'll talk to you later, and bye.